Torre, the host and creator of the Pete Torre Show, and I want to welcome you to episode 18. Before we move on, let me salute my sponsors, Jackson Health, South Florida, Best Practices Title, and of course, my good friend Steve at Clutch Burger. Without my sponsors, we wouldn't be able to do this program, so I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Today's program, we have a special guest, Ana Milton from the José Milton Foundation. They are the major contributor to the new Jackson West Hospital in Doral. And they have been serving this community as one of the top philanthropists and just being a real champion for giving back, community service. So without any hesitation, let's bring on Ana Milton to the show. All right, of course, with me right now is Ana Milton, president of the José Milton Foundation. How are you, Ana?
Doing very well, Pete. Thank you so much for including me in your show. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's always a pleasure to speak with you.
It's, as always, there's so much to talk about in the world of philanthropy and giving back and corporate responsibility that you and I have worked on some projects on in the past there. Mm-hmm. Before we get into, the exciting news of the Jackson West Medical Center and some of the other things that are going on, for the benefit of the viewers that may not know the great work that you and the foundation do, can you give us a brief history of the foundation and its driving force, its purpose, its core values?
So the foundation started about 8-9 years ago. My father-in-law saw that it was very important to give back to this community. So, during his life, he was a very private individual. We were all rather private, and he was focused on working. He was a double immigrant. So his family immigrated from Lebanon to Cuba, and they actually landed in Cuba by mistake. They were supposed to be headed to Alabama, but they ended up in Havana. And so they had no family, no one there. They were raised in a different language. And then, of course, later as an adult and as a graduate with an architecture degree, he ended up coming to the United States and Miami, a city that he ended up cherishing and loving the people and helping the city actually grow. So, but that was his focus. It's just to get his family straightened out, become Americans, all that. And as you know, that takes a lot of energy and a lot of effort. But towards the end of his life, he thought how important it was to give back to the community that was so good to him. So he started the José Milton Foundation. Then he got ill. And actually Jackson Health Foundation was really the impetus. It was the first driving force for him to start giving back. So our first gift from the foundation was actually to become guardian angels at Jackson.
Okay.
And he directed that gift. He directed that first check. I remember he asked me to write the gift letter and to, present the check to Jackson. And, I've always been very philanthropic since my high school days. I've always been involved reporting for the blind, student government, schools. And I was very involved with Zoo Miami Foundation then, very involved with Big Brothers Big Sisters, starting to get involved with United Way. So he saw all this and he said, Ana, you're the right person to lead this foundation. My sons are busy carrying on the legacy of the work and the job and the business. And we really need a philanthropic arm and we really need you to step in. And of course, I was more than happy and actually very honored to do so. He always considered me a daughter and I, my second dad, right? So that's how it started with a Jackson gift. And then from then, we've been all over. So my goal is to cover every single corner of Miami-Dade County. Mm-hmm. So we try really hard. As you know, Miami-Dade County is humongous. Geographically, culturally, very diverse, and it just has so many different aspects. I mean, I'm here in the Gables in South Miami. You can go all the way to the Doral, you go all the way up to North Miami Beach, and it's like different segments, of the world, all represented in this one county in Florida.
Yep.
So I try really hard. We've also done some philanthropic work up in Broward because we do have some rental communities up there, and it's just very exciting. So right now, I believe in giving to where not only do I give of funds and money, but I also believe in giving talent, energy, effort. So every place we give, we're very deeply involved in. So whether it's, one of my kids, one of my nephews or nieces, one of the brothers or myself, we're either on the board, we are participating in an event, we are, helping on a committee, we are giving in multiple ways. And I'm very fortunate that, the whole family is behind this foundation. So I'm able to leverage a lot of the resources of our company, United Property Management, to help the work of the foundation. So it's very exciting. I mean, my offices are at our headquarters building, charge no rent. The foundation has no expenses other than grants. So I'm very fortunate about that as well. And our big topics of involvement are education, access to quality healthcare, and research. So everything I give is within those three areas.
Yeah, it's very focused, it's very niche, and allows you to do the quality of the work that you're doing and have been doing for all these years, because you're not spread out too thinly, and you're tapping into your passion, what you really love, and are able to take that to a very profound level. A question for you: a lot of the philanthropic efforts and involvement I've seen through the years has been in certain pockets of the county, where philanthropy is top of mind and all that. You and I worked a couple times on a very important project in Doral, 2018, 2019, regarding philanthropy in Doral. And that's a community that I believe, that I know you believe, has a lot of potential, because the way that city is growing. Are you starting to see this philanthropic mindset? You mentioned the county being so big. Are you starting to see additional areas of the county get more involved and take that social responsibility to a whole different level?
Well, I think, even with the disaster at Surfside, you saw how that community is typically a rather well-to-do community.
Yes.
But you saw how we could all be, needing of philanthropy.
Yeah.
So I think that, philanthropy has spread around the county. I know United Way is doing a big effort to not only get involved with Doral, which they have been successful, but also with North Miami Beach and the North Miami area. I know, that the Wynwood area now is going through a big change, or has been going through a big change, but now that COVID is hopefully in our rearview mirror or getting that way, we'll see more development in that area. But you have the surrounding areas that still, require help. They've been underserved for so many years.
Yes.
They need to catch up, and we need to help, because we are all lifted together, right? So what happens in one community, I guess there's a saying that says we are as strong as our weakest link.
Yes.
So we have to make sure that, we have no weak links, that especially students, that I'm so into education. I think it's so important for, we get it right for students, so we don't mess up, so that, 20 years from now, we're regretting our decisions that we made. Absolutely. When the kids were, being born and little and going through elementary school. And for me, education.
And today's the first day of school, so it's
That's right. So it's very apropos.
I could tell by the traffic this morning.
Yeah, of course. But, for example, right now I'm doing an initiative with the Girl Scouts that we just started, that is going to be getting more girls, and like 70% of girls that are in Girl Scouts are in underserved areas. So it's really amazing, but getting more girls in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. So I have this big initiative that I'm doing. I'm so lucky I have two buckets now to pick from. I have the José Milton Foundation, and my husband and I just recently started our own foundation for, our side of the family, the Cecil and Ana Milton Family Foundation, of which my daughter, presides over. But I'm using funds from that and from the José Milton Foundation to run this whole STEM umbrella and dozens of projects for the Girl Scouts throughout all of Miami-Dade County to get into STEM fields. And, you have to get kids early, and motivate them and encourage them.
And develop that culture, that mindset, those habits that they can then, move on as they grow, go into school, become adults and all that. It's very important. Very, very important day just happened last month. The grand opening and the ribbon cutting of the much anticipated, long anticipated, and Jackson West Medical Center. Tell me about the involvement of the José Milton Foundation in that beautiful new facility. What drove you to get involved? I think I already know. You answered part of that question earlier. But what's your take on the whole thing, and what drove this foundation to kind of make sure that this project moved forward?
As you can imagine, it was a legendary day for our family and for the community and for Doral.
Yes.
So you were there, so thank you for joining us. And it was really a great celebration of philanthropy, as well as building and the community coming together with the bond. So that hospital was thanks to Carlos Magoya, the CEO of Jackson Health System. He and his team had this great idea that we needed a bond issue to fix the capital, to fix the infrastructure of Jackson Health Systems. And so this hospital was born out of that bond. They considered Doral a healthcare desert, because the nearest hospital was miles and miles away. And they were, because of traffic, as you know, traffic in Doral is notorious, but with traffic, it could really, and every minute counts when you're in an emergency.
Yes.
So we really needed to have a hospital there. And it was a long journey. At the beginning, it was only going to be an inpatient facility. And then we had to work with a letter writing campaign to, Tallahassee, which, I hate to say it, and Tallahassee has been a lot more friendly to us lately. But, Tallahassee is way up in the north part of Florida. They have no idea what happens in Miami.
It's a completely different world in Tallahassee.
Completely. They're South Georgia. And if you go up there, you know exactly what it means. Because I've been for United Way and bringing money more, to Miami-Dade County. And it really is a different world. But anyways, Mr. Magoya has been instrumental in building those relationships with the government, up in Tallahassee, and he's done an excellent job. And we finally got approval for a 100-bed hospital. And that wasn't even that long ago. That's why probably it took so long. But I will tell you that in the 5 years it took to build, we went through COVID. We went through that shift from an inpatient, an outpatient facility to an outpatient and 100-bed hospital. And we went, the COVID was incredible. Every other hospital or big medical facility that was being built around the country was either halted or downright stopped.
That's right.
And here we are trudging on, having, of course, they had some work outages because people got COVID, people got sick. They had to do the social distancing at the construction site. It's very difficult to work under those terms, especially in construction, where you need people to be together, working on a project together.
Right.
So, but, it really wasn't that off course. And I am happy to say that during that time that maybe it took a little bit longer than scheduled, they were able to come up with some great ideas and fix some things. For example, they have these 2 catheterization labs that are, I believe it's on the second floor, but it's very accessible. And that was something conceived of during construction.
Yes.
So cath labs were supposed to be up in the operating rooms. So they decided to bring them down to bring them closer to the people because they are outpatient procedures. Mm-hmm. So why should a patient go all through the hospital when they just need to go to the second floor?
Exactly.
So the hospital was really built with not only the patients in mind, but the family. Everything is family centric. How to help the family cope with an individual's, disease or an individual's problem.
Right, because when
health issue. So it's really very exciting. Even the parking is easy.
Yes. When a family member gets ill, it becomes a family, situation, family crisis. So the family is just as important as the person that is ill. I recall also that there was a lot of opposition from other entities and institutions to having that hospital in Doral, which I thought was a little bit unfair and unnecessary. It just the age of competition, but this this has now cemented, I think, Doral, West Miami-Dade, and I believe the hospital is going to be serving approximately 500,000 people in that general area. When you go points north, points south, points east. It's very important. It's located right off the Palmetto, Northwest 25th Street. So it's easy to get there. When you drive the Palmetto, you see it every single day, going north, going south. So there's no mystery. And I want to urge everyone out there watching this today that they are opened. They opened up August 2nd, and it is there. It is there for you to take advantage of everything, especially if you're in the West State area. Anna, we've got a couple of minutes left, and I want to get into this whole idea of social responsibility. You know, you hear it all over the place, and you hear about corporate responsibility and giving back. Why? And there is a fallacy out there that I think you and I have talked about, that a lot of people think, well, if I don't have the money to donate to a cause, then why am I going to be philanthropic? I think that's a big myth, because it goes beyond money, doesn't it?
Absolutely. So philanthropy really involves 5 T's. So originally it was 3 T's, but we've added 2 T's along the way. So it's time, talent, treasure, ties, and testimonials.
Yes.
So time, volunteerism is so important. And, you know, in our community, especially after COVID, and I want to get into mental health, how people have been feeling so alone, so like their life is over, especially the older folks.
Yes.
You know, they've had to change and everything. So I want to give a plug to Jackson, because they're holding a Mind Your Health Day on National Mental Health Day, coming up October 10th over at, I think, Margaret Pace Park, up in, so it's a beautiful venue by the water. And I'm really excited that Jackson is leading the way again, and making our whole community be aware of the mental health crisis that we are going through. And we're going to be through for many, many years. Yes. I mean, the younger kids, they've suffered, they've grown up with this. We don't know the ramifications of that, you know, as time passes.
No idea.
So I'm really happy about that. And, you know, Jackson is just so innovative in what they do and getting into the community. So I'm very happy about that. But that's time. So volunteerism, talent. You can always give your talent, you know, a skill that you know how to teach someone, help someone. Treasure, of course, is money, and money is always so critical. You know, a lot of people like to make, you know, donations of in-kind things, but really money is what drives everything and what keeps everything going.
Yep.
Ties, your connections, you remember the old Rolodex?
Yes.
So now it's your contact list. Get your contacts out there. You never know if there's someone out there who just hasn't been asked, and maybe they're willing to do something, but just hasn't been asked. And then testimonials. So important to go on social media and tell people what you see, what you've done. You know, it's really contagious. So if you start volunteering, you'll have people calling, hey, how can I help you? What can I do?
Yes.
That was a big deal during COVID, with so many restaurants and people coming forth to supply meals for healthcare workers.
Yes.
You know, it's like, I did it. No, you do it. And everybody wanted to be part of that, wanted to give, to be, you know, be helpful in some way. So there are many ways to give. It's not just, you know, it's not just money. You just have to ask and, you know, be willing to give yourself. And let me tell you, it's so much more rewarding than what you put in. You get so much more. And if you do it as a company, it really is very team building. So I did want to mention something else that is also very exciting at the José Milton Memorial Hospital. You know, on September 22nd or thereabouts, they're going to open up the maternity ward.
Oh, fantastic.
So the first baby will be born in Doral around that time. So we're very excited about that.
That's a big, big moment there. And so much to go. Anna, thank you so much for being with us today. This is great information. I always enjoy our conversations.
Absolutely.
We'll have many more moving forward. But I do want to let the viewers know that Jackson West is open for business. And if you live or work around that area in Doral, you know, and something happens and you need to go to and get some care, go to Jackson West. They're ready for you. They have a phenomenal team led by Eddie Borrego, who is the CEO there. And so it's there for the taking. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Pete. Thank you for having me. And I do want to say, even if you're not in the Doral area, you will want to go there. If you just have to travel a few extra miles, and the exit off the Palmetto is super easy, but the hospital, I mean, it's a hotel and there's art everywhere. And it really is an enjoyable experience just being there and knowing that all the doctors were clamoring and fighting to get to this hospital, to be part of this hospital. So you're getting the top top MDs and the top, technology helping you feel better and get better and live, a healthy life.
And it's all about that. Thank you so much, Anna.
Thanks. Thank you, Pete.
All right. Have a great one. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you to Ana Milton for taking time to be with us here today and tell us all about what's going on with the José Milton Foundation, in particular, Jackson West. I now want to share with you something I call the age of wellness. Let me first share with you a personal story. On July 7th of this year, I was reborn. This was the day I had my prostate removed due to an aggressive cancer. Thank God the cancer was isolated in the prostate. Great news that was confirmed exactly 7 days later when my doctor shared the pathology report with me. The news was so favorable that no additional treatment was necessary, including radiation. I will never forget the overwhelming feeling of relief and gratitude I felt upon leaving the doctor's office. Surely the hand of God was all over this, along with the expert hands of my surgeon and his team. Being stricken with cancer and then surviving it became an enormous life-changing moment for me. I asked the big question, why me? How did I come out of this ordeal in the way that I did? How was I so fortunate compared to so many who have or are not as lucky? In the aftermath of this challenge, I took time to pray and reflect on all that had happened. I believe there had to have been a divine reason for all of this to occur at this time and at this moment in my life. I really believed that I received a message from God to use this experience to help others going through the same challenge, both from a medical and emotional perspective. God pulled me through this, and now I strongly believe that He expects me to carry the torch to speak on His behalf. I have a profound sense of duty to share this story with as many people as possible with the hope that I may be a positive difference maker in their lives. My friends, wellness is now my number one priority. To expand and cultivate a positive mindset, to exercise regularly, and enhance my spiritual life. I am determined to be an ambassador for a healthy mind, body, and spirit. As a result of my new wellness attitude and my commitment to your well-being, I am extremely excited to announce the launch of a new monthly talk show, The Age of Wellness. And this show will launch on Thursday, September 9th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This program will feature an ongoing and comprehensive discussion about the critical importance of living a healthy lifestyle with a close look at developing, maintaining a healthy mindset, body, and spirit. We will share relevant and timely information featuring healthcare leaders, subject matter experts, community advocates, wellness trends, tips, personal testimonies, and much, much more. We're doing all of this for you and anyone else who is ready to make wellness a priority like I have for themselves, their families, and their businesses. I ask you to join me on this healthy journey. Thank you for being with me today. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and take a moment to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Pete Della Torre. Listen to us on Spotify, TuneIn Radio. And if you got any other questions for me, write to me to my website, PeteDLT.com. Thank you so much for being with me today. Have a fantastic week, and God bless.